Quick heads up before we dive in. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into women's sports. Then jump into the comments with your take. Is Caitlin Clark's latest crossover into golf exactly what women's sports needs right now? Did the LPGA outmarket the WNBA using the WNBA's biggest star? And is the backlash toward Aya Wilson fair, or are fans reading too much into social media? Here's what's happening. Caitlin Clark is set to play in the Annika Pro Am, and if last year was any indication, this is going to be a spectacle. Clark didn't just dabble in golf, she turned a casual showcase into appointment viewing. Crowds packed the ropes like it was the Final Four. Networks scrambled for coverage. Social timelines filled with highlights. Ratings jumped. It was the rare moment where a crossover wasn't a gimmick, it was a genuine growth engine. This time around, the anticipation is even bigger. The LPGA didn't hesitate. They invited the most influential athlete in women's sports and rolled out the welcome mat. Smooth behind-the-scenes videos, mic'd-up moments, swing slow-mos off the tee, candid clips with pros on the range. Everything you'd expect from a league that understands opportunity. They didn't fight the hype, they embraced it. They didn't put restrictions around relevance, they amplified it. The message was clear. Caitlin Clark is good for women's golf, good for the LPGA, and good for fans. And fans responded. People who don't usually watch women's golf were suddenly all in. Every fairway Clark walked filled with autograph hunters and selfie requests. Commentators sounded amazed by a midweek media crush. Local TV crews, national outlets, and digital platforms turned up in numbers you just don't see for a Wednesday Pro Am. Overnight, follower counts climbed, view counts surged, and the story bled into mainstream sports talk. That's the Caitlin Clark effect, real, measurable, and repeatable. What makes this even more remarkable is that parts of last year's event weren't initially planned for broadcast. Fans pushed for coverage, the LPGA adjusted, and the resulting audience validated the decision. It turned a niche moment into a headline weekend for women's golf. When you see a league pivot like that in real time, you're watching savvy marketing meet genuine demand. Now the comparison a lot of fans are making online. The LPGA's response versus the WNBA's silence. As the LPGA leaned into Clark's presence, some WNBA fans noticed that league accounts stayed quiet. No shout-outs. No cross-promotion. No, that's our star energy. In a vacuum, that might not mean much. But in this conversation, it felt glaring. The optics suggested one league was celebrating the moment while another was standing back with folded arms. Whether that's entirely fair or not, perception drives narratives, and the internet is nothing if not hungry for narratives. Which brings us to Aya Wilson. As Clark's golf clips and media coverage spiked, social users began combing through Wilson's likes and posts. Some fans interpreted a few cryptic reactions and liked comments as shade aimed at Clark, suggesting media bias and overexposure. To be clear, Wilson didn't name names, and elite athletes reacting to coverage is hardly new. But the discourse took off anyway. It happens fast in 2024. Screenshots, quote tweets, and hot takes snowballing into a storyline. This is where the conversation needs nuance. Aya Wilson is one of the best players in the world, a multiple-time champion and MVP with a massive following of her own. If parts of her fan base feel that the coverage pendulum swings too far toward one face, that's a point worth hearing. At the same time, Caitlin Clark's impact is undeniable. She has expanded audiences, pulled new fans into arenas, and created crossover interest that lifts multiple sports at once. Both things can be true. Coverage can sometimes feel uneven, and Clark can still be a once-in-a-generation marketing engine. What the LPGA did well was choose collaboration over competition. They treated Clark as a bridge, not a threat, as someone who brings new eyeballs to women's golf without taking anything away from the women already carrying the tour. Pros greeted her on the range with genuine warmth. One LPGA player even stopped mid-practice to introduce herself on camera, thanking Clark for what she's doing for women's sports and telling her, "It's very cool what you're doing, on and off." That moment captured the vibe. Confident, welcoming, forward-looking. The energy on the course matched that tone. Clark was relaxed, playful, and relatable, laughing off bad shots, high-fiving kids, spending extra time signing autographs. It wasn't a staged stardom moment, it was organic connection. That's exactly what women's sports needs to keep growing. Accessibility paired with star power, a fresh audience meeting a sport at its most human. Meanwhile, the online comparisons grew sharper. Fans asked why a golf league could publicly celebrate Clark while the basketball league she plays in remained silent. They pointed out the irony. The LPGA social team showed how to promote the WNBA's biggest star better than the WNBA did that day. It's a tough critique, but the answer doesn't have to be defensive. The playbook is right there. Cross-post. Share highlights. Congratulate your own. Make the moment feel shared, not siloed. It's easy to see how this turned into a proxy war over attention. Aya Wilson led her team to a title and dominated the postseason, only to watch a casual Pro-Am clip outpace finals highlights on certain platforms. That stings. Any competitor would feel it. But it also proves the point. Clark's presence doesn't shrink the pie. It grows it. The LPGA saw that and moved fast. The WNBA can do the same. There's another layer here, the one that always matters the most: kids and families. Watch the videos from the ropes. The face of a 7-year-old seeing Clark walk by. The shaky phone camera as a dad gets a signature for a daughter who just started golf. That's where long-term growth happens. One memory on a Wednesday afternoon becomes 5 years of lessons, then a high school team, then college golf. Or it becomes a ticket to a WNBA game, a new favorite team, a jersey for a birthday. That is how multi-sport ecosystems develop. It feeds on shared moments and cross-pollination. Caitlin Clark understands this intuitively. When she talks about impact, she doesn't make it about numbers. She talks about joy, about the 2 hours that can change a young person's year, about how reflection from the crowd fuels her. That's the language of an ambassador, not just a scorer. She didn't go to the Annika Pro-Am to prove a point. She went to play golf, connect with fans, and lift a space that welcomed her. The numbers followed because the moment felt real. The lesson for the WNBA isn't complicated. Women's sports are strongest when they're united. A crossover win in golf helps the next basketball broadcast and vice versa. When one league catches a wave, another league should be waiting with a surfboard. That's how you stack audiences and keep the momentum rolling from season to season. It's also worth noting that the overexposed critique doesn't hold under scrutiny. If one weekend of golf highlights can goose ratings and attendance, that's not oversaturation. That's proof of concept. The answer to more interest isn't to ration it, it's to guide it. Bring new viewers in, then show them the depth of the product beyond the headliner. The WNBA has incredible talent across the board. Use the Clark spotlight to introduce more stars, more rivalries, more stories. Of course, social media will keep surfacing the sharp edges. That's how it works. One ambiguous post gets read like a manifesto. One liked comment becomes a referendum. But the people in the arena, and on the course, aren't thinking about that. They're thinking about the fun of a day outside, the thrill of a signature, the surprise of seeing a basketball phenom stripe a drive. If you strip away the drama, what remains is encouraging. A women's golf league capable of nimble marketing moves, a women's basketball league with one of the most powerful drawing cards in sports, and a fan base hungry for more crossover, more collaboration, and more joy. The friction is optional. The growth is not. So where does this go from here? Expect the Annika Pro-Am to lean even harder into the Clark effect. Expect streaming partners to get involved earlier. Expect bigger hospitality footprints, more family activations, and maybe even a bump in Pro-Am entries from celebrities who want in on the scene. If the LPGA is smart, and they are, they'll lock this in as a tentpole moment each year and build programming around it. On the WNBA side, an easy win is sitting on the table. Celebrate the crossover publicly. Repost the LPGA content with a supportive caption. Have league stars drop comments. Invite LPGA pros courtside next summer and return the favor during the season. Make women's sports feel like a single conversation, not parallel ones that rarely interact. That strategy doesn't diminish anyone. It multiplies everybody. And yes, we should say this plainly. The criticism of Aya Wilson got personal fast online, and that's not the way forward. She's a generational player and a key part of why people tune in. If anything, moments like this are chances to reframe the conversation. Less either/or, and more yes and. Yes, Aya Wilson is a superstar. Yes, Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. And yes, both can raise the ceiling for women's sports together. The truth is simple. Caitlin Clark didn't take anything from the WNBA by teeing off at a Pro AM. She added to women's sports by showing up. The LPGA welcomed the moment and grew because of it. The WNBA can do the same the next time she walks into an arena. Growth rewards leagues that play offense, not defense. The fans already told us what they want. More connection, more crossovers, more chances to see their favorite athletes in new contexts. When historians look back on this stretch of women's sports, they won't think in terms of turf wars. They'll look at a rising tide and ask which leagues learned to ride it. The Annika Pro AM is a case study in how to say yes when the wave arrives. Drop your thoughts below. Did the LPGA outmarket the WNBA this week? Are fans being unfair to Aya Wilson, or does the league need to show more visible support when Caitlin Clark steps into other sports? And how big do you think this year's Annika Pro Am can be with Clark in the field? Bigger crowds, stronger ratings, more sponsors. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We'll keep you posted with on-site clips from the Annika Pro AM, reactions from LPGA pros, and the ripple effects across women's basketball as the summer approaches. Women's sports are growing fast. Let's make sure we give credit where it's due and keep pushing the momentum forward together.